Jerome Powell came out and reminded us what fear is like today at the press conference. We saw tons and tons of selling pressure come through as Jay Powell answered questions of the journalists. Let's take a look at that. But something to remind you here is that things are on sale today. There is a silver lining. A lot of the things we've been looking at are on sale, are coming to the prices that we were looking at. They could go a little bit further, and we will explore that as well. But first, let's look at the SPY. So this is the thing that is concerning. The SPY closed underneath the 200-day moving average and is glowing lower. If it gets below this box here, we're going to come all the way down to 570. Okay, 570 if we lose this little box right here, which means if we go beneath 580, you better say hello to 570 and get comfortable with that, and that is going to drag everything down with it. Currently, we are down 3.78%. We're going to go, well, currently in the aftermarket, we're down 4.27%. We're going to go down. This is 5% area here. All the way down here is 6%. That's just a 6% retracement. That's actually normal. Are we going to get a Santa Claus rally? Who knows? After that FOMC meeting, I'm not entirely sure. However, let me give you the silver lining right here. Bitcoin did not break $100,000. It didn't even hit the 200-day moving or the 21-day moving average there. Okay, this is a bit of a morning star right here that we're getting today on this. Now let's see if a bid comes in at $100,000. If we get a bid in at $100,000 on Bitcoin, you better believe that this thing's going to turn right around and go right back up to the top. SPY, maybe, maybe not. We'll see. There's a lot of fear sown now after that press conference. Now the rates, they brought them down. This is true, but they expressed that they are expecting more inflation in 2025 and only 2 cuts in 2025. The market had priced in significantly more than 2 cuts in 2025, meaning that the effective rate from the Fed will remain well above 3% throughout 2025 as far as the Fed is expecting things to go. So with that as a result, the market absolutely tanked off of that. I am down well over $10,000 just today. So this is what we're looking at. All right. So one thing, if you've been waiting for the warrants, Clean Spark warrants, not just the warrants, it could be any warrants, Clean Spark warrants. If you've been waiting for Clean Spark warrants, well, today was your chance. Today is your chance. It came down, and of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. This thing came down into support. It hit around 81 cents. Okay. It hit about 81 cents, 79. It hit 79 cents, and we're going to see if it's going to keep going down or if it's going to bounce up. Okay. Now, let me get out of here. We'll know it's going back up when. Let me get rid of some of these. We'll know it's going back down or up when we see this line break. So let me draw this line here and then that line there. Okay, when this line breaks to the upside, we're going back up. Until then, we're going to come find this support down here. We're probably going to touch this around 70 cents. We might even come all the way down to like 66, 67 cents. I have a buy order in for 66 cents. I have a buy order for 66 cents if it comes down to that. But if you missed it on the way up, this is your opportunity in the next couple of days. We will see how this market reacts to it. Are we going to bounce tomorrow? Or are we going to fall further tomorrow? If we fall further tomorrow, that's kind of bad a little bit. We may see a bit of a rebound towards the very end of December and into January. But if we continue to dump on the SPY, and if let's go to the weekly, not the 2-week, the weekly. If on the weekly we lose this down here, right? If we lose the 21-day on the weekly here, which is 576, like if we lose it and we don't come back, stay within that for this week, like if we don't do like one of these right back, like we did back here in July, right, where it kind of sold off, went below it, and then came right back up same week. If we don't see something like that, if we go below it, we're going to come all the way down to 542. Okay, that's going to be the 200-day moving average. If we lose the 21-week moving average here, we're going to go down to the 200-week moving average, and that would be a 10% retracement, which again is normal in a bull market, but that's going to be devastating for your portfolio overall, especially if you're in the same things I am. Okay, so if we lose this line right here, this blue line, I'm going to be stepping away for a while. I'm going to be closing all my profitable positions and stepping away for a while. I am still wildly in profit for Clean Spark warrants. I'm still up 65-ish%. I'm still up 100% on IREN, or no, 80% now. I'm still up 20% on Clean Spark itself. I'm still up 70% on Bit Digital. I'm still up hundreds of percent on Palantir. Like, I'm going to close those positions and walk away for a little while if we lose this blue line on the weekly chart for SPY, okay, which is currently at $576.65. All right. If we lose that this week, I'm going to walk away for a little while. Okay. All right, let's take a look at some other things here. Bitfarms went all the way down to 182. 182. This thing, yeah, I sold it back when it was like in the mid $2 range here. And yeah, it's been just getting worse and worse and worse for Bitfarms right now. Now it's down about the same as all of its peers. Like, look at this. All of this is double digits. All of it's in the teens. It's all pretty brutal. Let's take a look at, let's see how Wolf did. Not Wolf. Wolf's coming down towards this trend line. Yeah, I expected that. Let's take a look at Core Z. Ooh, okay. So Core Z may have lost it. So this is Head and Shoulders now. Core Z, the bottom of that Head and Shoulders is at the bottom of this Bollinger Band down here at $13.12. I would wait a little more for Core Z. Same thing with warrants. I am waiting. I'm continuing to wait. If it bounces here, great. I did buy a little bit more, a little bit under $1. That'd be great. And if you've been waiting for it, again, this is an area. This is not the 618, but this is the 0.5 line right here on the fib retracement. The 618 is all the way down at 64. That's where I have mine at, but I'm also wildly in profit on quite a few shares of this, so I'm not in any hurry. And I honestly don't. It won't bother me if I don't get my purchase down here in the 60s. So if you've been waiting for it, look for a bounce. If you see the bounce, it might be time to buy some of that. If we look at CleanSpark warrants, now this is why I think it can keep going lower. Okay, CleanSpark itself closed all the way underneath all this volume profile here. We came up to the 200 bounce, dumped off of that really hard. We're in this big gap right here, right? This big volume gap. Guess where that big volume gap takes us down to? All right, let me turn off the thing right here. Let me turn these off. Okay, that opens us up to this gap right here. We're in this gap now, and this gap goes all the way down to 1074. Yeah, we're inside of this gap. This gap goes to 1070-ish, then to the 1070s. We might even touch the body of that thing down at 1050. We could go back to $10.50 on CleanSpark. If we do that, you better believe the warrants are going to go all the way down into the 60s, maybe even 50-cent range. So that is going to be bad. This was honestly kind of a catastrophic day a little bit. Mara, my calls on Mara are now down significantly, but I'm not selling them right now because look at all this volume right here. This thing can come all the way down to 1980, which, oh, remember my line right there, right on the volume profile for the daily. Beautiful. If it comes down there, I might load up a few more and ride it higher again because Bitcoin, let me go to the daily for Bitcoin, did not break $100,000. And as long as it doesn't, I'm actually not super concerned about the miners. I'm not super concerned about anything else. I'm viewing all of this as a buying opportunity. Now, let's go and look at some other ones. Let's see. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, this is a Head and Shoulders now. Okay, this is a confirmed Head and Shoulders now. We're looking at this thing to come down into the 120s, maybe even high teens for NVIDIA. I would not buy this yet, but it is looking like it's getting to a really beautiful buy zone. If you're looking at AMD, I've been talking about AMD. AMD, I would wait now. I would wait. Again, I would wait, and I would wait for it. What happened to my drawings, man? I had some drawings on here. Oh, no, they're up there. It's this one. The 5-day moving average. It's got to get up and above the 5-day moving average, which means it's got to go up above 125.64 before I'm even interested. And once it does that, it can move all the way up to 133 real fast. So, again, it's dropping. I want to see it come a little lower. I want to see it start to recover before I'm interested in AMD. But it is in an area where I'm very, very interested in AMD, to be honest. Let's see. Let's take a look at Vertiv. Vertiv. This is the one they do the cooling solutions for AI chips. They are coming down. They lost the 200-day moving average today, so I want to see it come down to support, which is all the way down here in like the 110, maybe even 106 range. This thing could come all the way down into the 90s, so I am watching it closely, waiting for that turnaround. Once I catch that turnaround, I'll be looking at Vertiv. Let's take a look. Tesla. Oh yeah, this is really important. Tesla looks terrible right now. This is an evening star pattern that we got on here with these three candles right here. That is an evening star pattern. Now, we lost the 5-day moving average. We're barely clinging. No, we lost the upper ATR band as well. So we lost the 5-day moving average and the upper ATR band. If it closes, if it opens tomorrow beneath 40, let's see, what is it? Beneath 4190 and stays under 4190 all day tomorrow, you better believe we're coming down to this blue line, which is currently at 389.63. And if that doesn't hold, and Tesla's notorious for breaking through multiple levels of support, if that doesn't hold, it's coming all the way to the bottom of this red cloud down here, which is all the way down at 355, and it would do that real fast, real in a hurry. And honestly, around the 350s is an area I would be getting recommitted to Tesla. All right, that is very much what's going on. Google came down, hit the low 190s. It's going even lower. My calls on this are also suffering quite badly. I wouldn't be surprised if it came down to one. Honestly, there's no volume until all the way back down to the low 180s. So hopefully it gets caught around 186, 187. We see a bit of a turnaround tomorrow. But if I do not see a turnaround, and if I go down to the hourly chart, let's go to the hourly chart. If I do not see a turnaround, yeah, around 185, you better believe I'm going to be cutting for a loss on those calls and waiting for it to reset to re-enter those positions for Google longs. Right now, it's looking like Google is short, and it is going to fill this gap. It's likely going to fill this gap to 185, and I'm going to see if 185 holds. If it doesn't hold, it's going to come all the way down to 176, and I'm not sitting in it that long. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to cut it for a loss. It's going to be a decent loss, talking about several hundred, maybe even a little over $1,000 a loss on that. And then basically everything I earned that one day will be wiped away because of this event. So that happens sometimes. What can you do? And that's that for that. Palantir finally showing weakness. This morning it was like the only thing up all day, and then it's finally showing some weakness. In fact, we lost the 5-day. Yep, we finally have lost the 5-day. If we open and close tomorrow below 73.39, it might be time to say it's going to come down to at least the 21-day at 68.96, and that is the area I will look for it to either bounce, because it hasn't touched that since November, early November, and then if it bounces, it's going to go higher. If it doesn't bounce, it's coming down to the 200, which is down to $57, which you better believe I'm going to sell a couple of covered calls on my positions for Palantir if it loses this blue line. Okay, that's really important there. What else is going on here? What else do we want to look at real quick? PayPal went to the dumpster. Coinbase, if you were in Coinbase like I've been in Coinbase, this was devastating. This thing's going to come down to the 200-day moving average at 261. It's just going to do it. It's going to do it. I've got ConL puts, sold puts for Friday that are deeply in the red right now. I might be rolling those. We'll see. I might just take the L on it and then sell a covered call that would be right where I sold the put at before, so like $65 for ConL, and then try to recoup my money that way. We'll see what I decide to do there, but that is a brutal understanding there. This is just a brutal realization right now. It's just an awful day. But we are seeing buying opportunities on pretty much everything. But look at crypto is down less than the miners. Crypto is down less than the miners. Bitcoin is holding $100,000. Solana's holding $200. Ethereum is holding up and above that $3,500 level. Let's see if it can manage. As long as it stays up above 36.26 here, I don't see it dropping much further on Ethereum. That'll help Bit Digital. But as long as we do that, we're likely going to be okay. Now, let's take a look at XRP real quick. XRP, look what it did. It came down to the 382, bounced. This gives me confidence. The fact that crypto is holding up better than most stocks today gives me lots of confidence in my crypto-backed assets right now. So I'm actually pretty still not concerned about this. I'm actually looking at this as a buying opportunity, and I'm trying to pick and choose what do I want to add to, or what new positions do I potentially want to take off of such an awful day. Look at Soluna holding up today. That's nice to see. My MicroStrategy play is down bad. I bought MSTX at $104. It's now down to like 70 something dollars. I did sell a covered call on it right as the FOMC news came out. Look at that drop off. Woo, 18% today. Yeah, I did do a covered call on that to recoup some of that. I saved myself, a couple $100 by doing that right away as that happened, as the drop came in. But look, we're going to fill this gap. We're likely going to fill this gap. We're going to hit like the high 60s. We're going to hit the high 60s. I may commit more. This might actually be where I add more funds, is MSTX, to be honest. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Let me delete that channel. I want to see it bounce off the 200 though. I would like to see it bounce. It might wick down to like the 60s, and then I want to see it bounce off that 200 and come back and conquer this 21 and 95. Like, this is a $30 move right here. Basically, it would come down to the 60s. I would buy more in the 60s. I might buy like half as much as I have now in the 60s and watch it go climb up to the 90s. Dump that the extra shares I buy in the 60s, and then try to ride the rest up to Valhalla up here in the 200 range. That's what my goal is. Let's see what happens. Let's hope that the MicroStrategy isn't done for here yet, but maybe it is. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. But yeah, today the Fed came out, kicked us in the teeth, rearranged our smile a little bit today, but everything's on sale. It's presenting opportunities for us to potentially buy these things low. as we go into further rallies. Now, of course, that can be undone, and I mentioned what would mark that for me, like seeing the SPY go under the 21-week moving average means that we're going to move twice as much as we just did, and that would worry me, and I would step away. I would take losses. If I had losses, I would take whatever minuscule profits remain, if any profits remain, and I would walk away for a week or two and see what the market is going to do to allow it to reassess itself over the holiday, and then come back ready to go long and strong on the remainder of the year and into January. That's what I'd be looking for there. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. And unfortunately, today we did not have a profitable day, unless you ran puts, in which case, congratulations.